Talking Star Wars, thank you for the 5. We really appreciate the support. Will Kimberly from Final Destination 2 appear in 7 as a mentor to the new group? Knight, sadly, we no longer have Mr. Tony Todd, who has been in almost all of these movies and added such a great layer to them. But as the franchise continues forward, will Kimberly be the one to warn our group about the incoming deaths?
Well, that was one of my theories that I was going to throw out there, which I mean, I don't know if I should even say it's a theory, but maybe it's a hope and dream, because I thought that Kimberly was a really fun character in 2. As far as I understand it, AJ Cook they have reached out to AJ Cook, and I haven't heard anything solid beyond that, but I think why not? Why not? Because look, you've got a character who and also was kind of referenced in Bloodlines as far as figuring a way to do it, whatever. Why not? I think that would be great. One of the things I loved about 2 also was the callback to Ali Lauder, her character of Clear. And it was cool seeing her come back, man. It was kind of like, yeah, so I think it would be so cool. 2, like I said, 2 for me has always been at the top, because there's just so many great things about it. And if they're able to have any connection to it with AJ Cook or what have you, I think it's a smart idea. I really do. That would be so cool. I'm just saying right now, I'd be so hyped if it comes to pass that she is in Final Destination 7. I'm telling you.
Well, she was a very big part of the marketing for Bloodlines, which is why I was like, oh, she's got to be like in this thing. She did like videos talking about all of the different kills from some of the other movies. And I'm just like, okay, so she's definitely in this thing. And then she doesn't show up, which is great. You got to wonder if they shot something or just didn't use it for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
Interestingly enough, there's stuff in the trailer that never made it to deleted scenes, never made it to the movie itself. There was supposed to be an entire sequence where characters get trapped in that revolving door at the hospital.
Yes. Yeah, man. I mean, this is always sometimes the fun of these films when you kind of find out these little nuggets and then you start to workshop it in your mind. You're like, man, I wonder why they didn't use that, or are they saving that for another movie, or was there something that happened when they shot it and it just didn't work right, and like, so yeah, I would have loved to seen the revolving door, because I gotta admit, man, those things do kind of creep me out. They really do.
The automatic ones that like they just keep going, like you could get stuck in that. That gives me crazy anxiety.
Right? I'm claustrophobic, bro. So
yeah.
I'm telling you, I have issues with being claustrophobic. Like The Descent is like one of my favorite horror movies ever. And part of the allure and the horror of it is that tight space, being in the dark, feeling claustrophobic. So yeah, if I don't know, maybe they're saving the revolving door. Who knows?
They still got many more movies to make, I think. This is a very malleable franchise. I mean, they could just keep making more and more and more of these if they really wanted to.
Yep.
But talking Star Wars, thank you for the 5. I think Kimberly's definitely coming back. Oh, one other thing about Kimberly, I personally want to see her die. If she comes back, I think, death has got to catch up with her. How do you feel about that? Like, especially being such a big fan of 2, did she cheat death, or is it her time now?
Well, look, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say it wouldn't be cool to see her die, because that kind of would be cool. It's like, okay, you had a vacation, okay? you had a lot more time than everybody else, but at some point everyone's got to pay the piper, right?
Yeah.
But I gotta admit, man, if for some reason, and this is one thing that had been coming into my mind a lot, I'm not, solid on it yet, but if she does kind of take that type of spot that Tony Todd had, as far as just the person with the knowledge, maybe a little, whatever you want to call it, creepy and so forth, I'd be here for it. I would be here for it. I would not blink an eye. And I think that it would be very interesting to see the protagonist of 2 kind of become the not boogie lady, but you know what I'm saying? Like that would be kind of interesting. We've never done that, in a franchise. So it could be, like I said, man, they got a lot of different ways they can go with 7. end this franchise, for the foreseeable future. And it's exciting stuff. They could do some really interesting things that haven't been done before in a franchise.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind that either, because I think that's a nice through line to the original series in a way.
Yeah.
Final Destination feels very different now than it did when it first started off, and Kimberly could kind of be that gap, you know what I mean,
Yep.
to bridge it. We're always talking about Scream on this page and talking about how there's too many legacy characters. You keep reminding us of the past, we get it. But Final Destination's weirdly in like the opposite spot,
Right.
Like we had Bloodworth come back in Bloodlines, which was great.
Yep.
But now obviously we don't have that. What is our connection to the original series, or is 7 just going to be its own standalone thing?
Right. Well, and you're right, as opposed to something like Scream, it's not built on the characters, from movie to movie. There's no carryover really. I mean, yeah, again, Clear was in 1 and went to 2, and maybe Kimberly will come back, but I don't really count Tony Todd because he was always kind of on the outside, the creepy, kind of like the Crazy Ralph type of character, and that then that's a great thing, the Harbinger.
Yeah.
So I don't really count that, but Bloodlines, I think I'm sorry, the franchise itself, I don't think it would hurt it at all to kind of, get a little nostalgic with having Kimberly come in, and even if it's just for this movie and she dies, or if she comes in and she's kind of, the baton is passed to her to be that bridge. I think it works well, because the thing about Final Destination is, and my brother used to say it, death doesn't lose. It just really doesn't lose. I mean, so it would actually kind of be a fresh thing to have this final girl come back and do a little good stuff.
Well, and I think death is less of like a person, more of a force of nature. You know what I mean? It's like you can't beat that. There's no way of beating that. And this is characters just trying to essentially extend their life. Like eventually it's going to catch up with them, but it's like how much longer can I live for, essentially? And I think in a way, I think that's why Final Destination is just so relatable, because it's like we're all in that position whether we like it or not. But I love that about this series, and I'm just excited to see what they do for the next one. And if Kimberly comes back, I would love to see AJ Cook again in this role. She's a phenomenal actress. Would love to see more of her in this franchise for sure.
Yep. I totally agree.
Talking Star Wars, thank you for the 5. I really appreciate your support.